Hey guys, today I'm going to work on the CRX a little bit. I'm not going to work on anything in terms of repairs or upgrades for the CRX. I'm just going to change up the look of it a little bit today. Recently I picked up an 8889 CRX lip that I want to get put on the car. I'd been searching for one for a little while now and ended up finding one in really good shape. I also grabbed a set of 9091 CRX mud flaps. Now this one's a little torn right there, but that's perfectly okay because if it rubs on the ground, that was the intention. If I damage it a little bit more, it won't be a problem. And since it's kind of on the inside, you won't really see it that much. The rear mud flaps aren't exactly the same because of this little angle right here. And if you're curious, here's a look at the difference. See how the 8889 mud flap is so much larger from the bottom of the bumper to the bottom of the flap? And the 9091, it's a solid inch longer. And the reason being, the bumpers are shaped differently right here, and when looking at the difference in length, I wouldn't doubt if the 9091 bumper hangs lower than the 8889, which is why these have different lengths. Now the front ones, they're exactly the same. Mine are in really good shape, the original ones, and that's why I didn't want to put these on the car. I didn't want to risk potentially rubbing these on speed bumps or anything across the ground, so the extra set will be perfectly fine. And these fit decently well. I already put them up on the car. They might hang a little low here, but I was test fitting them, and it won't be a problem at all. And then I've been meaning to install these extended top hats on the Tein Super Street Coilovers just to prolong the life of the coilovers. And these were taken off of my 91 Civic Si when I upgraded to the Skunk 2 Pro S2 coilovers. So I've had them sitting here for a while, just haven't had a chance to install them. And lastly, I'm going to throw on the Work MCO wheels. I think it'll be a nice change from the blue NK CPS 2s. I just wanted to mix it up a little bit with the flaps and the lip on there. So let me get started and we'll see what the car looks like after we're finished.
Touch a button, things happen. A scientist becomes a beast. Touch a button. Another man caught in a frantic race for the betterment of mankind. Progress.
Okay, so I started working on the rear and I got the mud flap on. Now you can see right here, see how it doesn't fit exactly like the 8889, how this one just has the one bend. This one has the two. It's a little off here. It's close. I could probably heat it up and bend it. But in order to use all three of the original mounting screws, I had to trim. See right here at the top, I cut off a little piece because it was rubbing on the molding and pushing it out a little bit further. So, you know, it didn't really bother me cutting up a little bit on these 9091 flaps because you can still buy these things for like $30 for the pair brand new. And I was being kind of weird about using mine on the car. I just want to make sure these are in the best possible shape if I ever have it stock height with stock wheels and all the stock parts. I didn't want to potentially damage these at all, and The 8889s are just so darn hard to find, and that's another reason why I don't want to leave them on the car as I'm driving it. But here you can see, like when this one lines up, it'll hang down a lot lower, and now the car's lowered, I didn't want to risk rubbing it on the ground anywhere, but I don't think you usually do on the rears. But I just want to give you an update of how that looks with the rear flaps on. And after trimming the top of the driver's side, this one fits very well. See how it hugs close to the bumper? Of course, it's a little off there. So I'm just thinking maybe that the passenger side, with a little bit of finessing, and I'm gonna use my heat gun one of these days, not right now. I'm just gonna bend it in and see if I can get it to fit as nicely as this driver's side does. All right guys, after getting it on the ground, took it for a spin. I wanted to get the suspension settled. Then I came back and I wanted to adjust the front coilovers, but unfortunately I'm gonna have to redo some work. And let me get the car lifted. I'm gonna show you why. Okay, so here's what's going on with the front end. When I added the top hats, of course you effectively remove some of the room between the bottom of the top hat and the mounting point on the shock. So now, when I was trying to adjust it, I wanted to raise the front end to be a similar height to the rear because it was about ½ inch lower after I had it settled. But as I adjusted the perches, I am now preloading the spring, and every time I raise a little bit more, the car doesn't necessarily raise in height. It just changes the preload of the spring. So I'm gonna remove the top hat and put the stock ones back on with the urethane bushings instead. That way I do have the adjustability. It looks like I'm not going to need it on the front. And these remind me of a shortened shock, say for instance the Skunk 2s or any other brands. They make the shock shortened. That way you don't necessarily have to use an extended top hat. So I don't know if this particular coilover was a shortened shock. This is a really old, it's the Tein Super Streets. I don't believe they make these anymore. I think it has a little bit different name in terms of the model number and everything. So keep that in mind if you're ever putting on extended top hats, if you have a shortened shock and using some coilovers. Now, unless you want to be like super low, that's great. Like I could go down maybe another ½ inch. So if that's your goal, you'll be perfectly fine using the extended top hat with a shortened shock. And see, after I removed the top hat, I haven't adjusted the perch. You can see now I have room again to raise it without preload, so I have another solid ½ inch I could go up. So it's gonna be perfectly fine leaving the fronts without the extended top hat. Now with all of those parts installed, I still have a little bit more time today, so I'm gonna go and work on swapping out my headlights. I've been wanting to change these because these have, you can see on the inside there, where it's kind of given way. The chrome finish that's in there is peeling back a little bit, so they're a little bit more dull. And I'm gonna replace it with those headlights that I got off of the 90 SI. These were brand new. They're a set of depot headlights, but they're really nice on the inside, very bright, not hardly any rock chips on the housings themselves. Then I'm also going to throw on some clear corners. I really like the way CRXs look with clear corners and amber bumpers. It's just a look that I prefer. And I picked up the hardware for the corner lights at the junkyard. Got this off a couple of different cars. These are what you need if you're using the 9091 corner lights instead of the 8889. So I'm going to get those swapped out real quick, and I'm also going to wire up my bumper light to be on all the time with those EK sockets. Let me get that knocked out real quick. Just a small tip, once you pop these out, the new hardware, these are exactly what you need for the 9091 corner lights. They will just pop right into place. And here's a quick look after I finish them up. These fit great, I had no issues at all. I did have to bend the little tabs so I could get the screw to line up, but after messing with it just for a little bit, I got them very, very straight. Very happy with how the headlights fit, same with these corner lights. Alright guys, and there it is. I'm done tinkering with it for today. Everything's now wrapped up. What do you guys think about the corner lights with the headlight combo? I prefer it just because I like them without the screw holes from the 8889. I think it's just a much cleaner look overall. I've always liked clear corners with the amber bumpers on CRXs. It's just been my favorite setup. I might even try some amber corners eventually. That way I can just switch out the corner lights whenever I kind of want to change the look of the car. One thing I really need to get to work on next is repainting this trim piece on the rear window, and same with the upper. Those, the rubber slash plastic, whatever the material is, it's long since been gone. So I'd like to tidy that up next. One thing I also did, I removed the windshield wiper. I don't know if you guys have seen these plugs that Gregparts makes. Really cool plug that has a little gasket in there too, so no water gets in. And then it has a nut on the reverse side to keep it planted into place instead of the OEM Honda one where you could just pry it off. These are really, really nice. If you haven't seen the parts he makes already, he makes a bunch of cool little replacement parts for our cars. He also makes the brake lights, these third brake light covers. Those look really cool. They have the CRX cut out in the center of it, and it's just like a solid black plate. And the flaps, the 9091 flaps, I have no problem with the way they fit. I like how high they actually hang up compared to the 8889. Me cutting that little corner really didn't do much in terms of looks. Most people probably won't even notice unless I pointed it out to them. But I dig the way that the car is looking overall. Looks super clean now without the windshield wipers on the rear, and I'm a big fan of always taking the windshield wipers off on the front. This car's garaged anyway, so it's not an issue, and I will not drive it in the rain anyway. Here we got a little side profile shot. What do you guys think of the wheels on here? I think these wheels look excellent. The blue looks really cool. Silver always looks really classic. Front lip looks really sharp. I like the mud flaps. It's nice being able to change it up, having those parts. And I'm gonna keep all the 8889 parts in my garage. That way, if you never know, maybe one day I just want to put it back to a stock look, I can easily get back there. It'd be a nice change as well. We'll get you guys another angle from the passenger rear corner. And that'll be it for today's video, guys. Hope you enjoyed the update on the CRX. Next for this car is I want to get some of the interior pieces taken care of. The door panels and the seats all need some serious repair. And another fun fact, I've owned this car for over a year now and I haven't even washed it once yet. Engine bay is still dirty, haven't washed it, haven't waxed it. That's something I'm going to do here shortly, is get out and spend an entire day just trying to detail the car as much as possible. As always, thanks for checking out my videos, guys. We'll talk to you next time.